Hey y'all, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to make this simple and easy summer squash casserole. It's my brother's recipe and I'm going to share it with you guys today on my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you won't miss out anytime I upload a new video. Thank you, Jesus. It is a beautiful day. Now let's get in the kitchen and make a summer squash casserole. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to start chopping my veggies. I'm going to get all my veggies chopped, prepped, and ready to go into my pan. Starting off first with the onion. Now here in this pan, I am going to add about a decent 2 tablespoons of butter. This is just to saute the veggies. You can use olive oil if you want to. I'm going to use about half a stick of butter for this recipe in total. I'm reserving the other 2 tablespoons for a very special tip that I'm going to share with you about incorporating your herbs into your butter. Now, once my butter is melted, I'm going to just go ahead and add in the chopped celery, onions, and bell pepper. Now I'm going to chop up my squash. I'm using yellow squash, but you can use any squash you want. You can use zucchini. You can use those cute little patty pan squash that you get in the fall, if you're making this in the fall. You can also use the more savory varieties of pumpkin. Whichever you want. It'll all be good. And into the pot she goes. Wow, didn't waste any. Give it a stir. Cover it with a lid and just let your veggies steam till they are getting tender. You don't want them to be cooked, but you don't want them to be raw either. That'll take about 5 minutes. So while my veggies are sauteing, I'm going to go ahead and cube up my bread. Now here I have a several days old loaf of sourdough bread. It's not hard, which is good. You want a soft bread for this. You don't want to toast it or anything like that. It's not necessary. And I'm just going to cut this up into, bread cube size. And I'm just going to transfer these into a large bowl to hang out while I finish chopping up the rest of the bread. You can totally use a good quality stuffing mix for this. That's what my mama would have did. But since I have leftover day old sourdough, I'm going to use it. Plus, it is made from scratch. As soon as your veggies is tender, go ahead and turn off the heat. And then remove the pot from the stove and just let the veggies hang out to cool down just a bit. Now I've got all my bread crumbs, cubed. Okay, let me say that again. I've got all the bread cubed and into the bowl. I did weigh the breadcrumbs out, 472 grams. So if you want to translate this into using a box of stuffing mix, you know exactly how much to use. And as you can see, they're just in cubes. You can rough this up a bit and kind of make them a little bit smaller. You can also put it in the food processor and kind of chop it up just a little bit smaller. But I'm comfortable with these small cubes. But again, if you were using a box of stuffing mix, Your bread pieces would be a lot smaller, but this is perfect with me. I'm going to set this aside and move on to my herbs and butter. So here I have all of my herbs that I'm going to be adding, because if you're using a box of stuffing mix, it's already seasoned, but I'm just using plain bread, so I want to and need to add my own seasonings. So I've got some herb de Provence, I've got some fennel, I've got some crushed red pepper flakes. I'm just going to add a bit, not too much. I have some ground coriander, I've got some dried thyme. All of these spices are ground. I've got some dried za'atar, some ajwain seeds, those little teeny carom seeds. You can also leave them out, because I did add celery, and they kind of complement each other. And I also got some dried Italian herbs, some black pepper, and because I want a more onion forward flavor, I'm going to be using some dehydrated onion powder as well. Now I'm going to just give these a rough mush. Not going to really try to grind them up, just a rough mush in my mortar and pestle. I'm emptying the spice room. Just a pinch of time. And the ground coriander is already ground, so I don't need to grind it up. So I'm just going to give these a rough grind. Now, don't forget to add the ground coriander. I'm not going to use a lot, just about a quarter of a teaspoon. That's the thing about cooking like this, these old-timey dishes. You can kind of season it up whichever way you want. So I've got my spices all ground and ready. Now I'm just taking the 2 remaining tablespoons of butter that I reserved, and I'm just going to melt it into the same pan that I use for my squash. No need to wash it. I just took the squash out and melting the butter in this pot. You want to make sure the butter is completely melted before you add in your spices. This is called toasting spices, and they toast a lot better than something like butter. You can also do this with oil if you're using oil. It only takes just a few seconds. Soon as you smell it, take it off the heat. Now I have here 1 can of Campbell's cream of chicken soup. This is absolutely what my mother used. I do make this myself, but I'm pretty sure most of you feel more comfortable using this, so I'm just going to use it. But if you feel more comfortable making it from scratch, by all means make it from scratch. It's not that difficult, by the way. And I'm just going to stir that right into the herbs and the butter. Here I've got 4 cups of warm chicken broth that I'm just going to add right in with the cream of chicken and the butter. Just give it a little stir before I pour it all in. Might have to use a whisk for this one because it seems to be a little lumpy. Yeah, better use a whisk. Much easier. I'm going to turn off the heat because this doesn't need to be hot at this point. Warm, but not hot. Now to this, I'm actually going to add some salt, because even though that is, it's chicken broth, so it is seasoned, but it's probably not enough seasoning in the chicken broth for the squash, the bread, all of those things. So you definitely do want to add a bit of salt. And you can taste this and kind of mentally calculate, is it salted enough for all the other things that's going to be going into your casserole. But don't forget, we are going to add cheese, and cheese is going to add a little bit of salt of its own. And speaking of cheese, here I have 1 cup of just regular cheddar cubed. I have, this is an Appenzeller. It's a Swiss cheese. It reminds you of a little bit between, a cross between Swiss, regular Swiss, with a little hint of cheddar and just a teeny tiny hint of Parm. It's not a hard cheese, but it is a rind cheese, so you'll need to remove the rind off of it before you use it, but this is a really good cheese to use. It also has a little bit of a cheddar kick to it too, although not as sharp. And I have 4 ounces of feta cheese, but you can use any cheese combination you like. I'm going to reserve this to mix into the casserole. But these 2, I'm going to go ahead and add right into my breadcrumbs, starting with the feta. And for cheeses like this, I just like to pull the rind off like that. It comes off very easily. Don't throw the rind away. Save the rind, because it has lots and lots of flavor. And I don't think I'm going to use all of this. I'm just going to use maybe 3/4 of it. I don't want too much cheese. And I'm just going to crumble it up in here. You can grate this cheese, but I let it sit out just to get a little bit softer and just crumble it in. If you want to grate it, just make sure it's straight out of the fridge when you grate it. Okay, that is our cheese. Now we'll go ahead and mix the rest of the ingredients in. So I'm going to go ahead and add in the cooled squash mixture. This smells good. Remember, the veggies doesn't have any salt, which is why we needed to season the broth quite so heavily. There's no salt in the veggies. Add that in. That smells good. Give it a wee mix. And I've got 2 eggs. Mama probably would have used 3, but 2 is good for me. Just whisk them up. And then add them right into the mixture. It's one of the reasons why you want to make sure the veggies are not screaming hot, so you don't mistakenly curdle your eggs. And then just mix them in. You can omit the eggs if you don't want to add eggs. That just kind of help to bind your casserole together a little bit. Now I'm going to pour in all of my broth mixture. Before I add the rest, I'm just going to give it a stir. You don't want it to turn into instant soup. Ooh, that smells good. Now add the remaining broth. Give it a nice mix. Now it's time to add in that reserved cup of cubed cheddar. There we go. And then just mix it in. I like to leave it cubed because you'll get these little bursts of cheddar inside of the casserole versus the other cheese have kind of dispensed itself all the way through it, but when you scoop into it, you get those little hidden pockets of cheddar. So good. So I have a 9x13 Pyrex casserole dish, and yes, the answer to your question is yes, it was my mom's. I find if I use the same dishes, that whether it's my mother or my sister whoever's recipe I'm using. If I use their dishes, I find that I kind of remember, my memory of how they cooked it comes back to me, because both my mom and my older sisters, they're not here with us anymore. So I can't call them and say, how did you do this? But I find the memory of how they cooked it all comes flooding back when I use the same dishes that they used. So yeah, I'm blessed that I inherited my mother's dishes especially, and it just helps me to remember how she cooked these various dishes. Okay, so spread this out. By the way, this will make a great stuffing. It doesn't need to be a casserole. This will make a great stuffing. And I like the little peaks of, it reminds me of a mosaic with the purple onion, the green bell pepper, and the yellow squash, and the brown bread. It just kind of, and the orange cheese. It reminds me a little bit of a mosaic. I am going to pop this into my preheated 350-degree oven. This is going to bake covered for right around maybe 50 minutes. Could be 45 minutes. It just depends on your oven. You do want to check it right around the 40-minute mark. I would check it. Then I'm going to top it with some more shredded cheese and put it back in the oven on a higher heat and just let the cheese kind of broil until it's nice and toasty. And into the oven she goes. The squash casserole is out of the oven. I let it cool just a bit because obviously it's like it's like molten lava coming out of the oven. You definitely want to make sure that you put something underneath the casserole as it's baking, because it does bubble quite a bit, but it looks delicious. Now, of course, it's time for a wee taste. Not much, just a bit so I can sample. Ooh, that looks good. It smells really, really good. Oh wow. Let's have a taste. A little bit. Ooh. Some cheese. Okay. Thank you, Jesus. That's good. Oh, it's really good. You can definitely taste the squash. But that herb butter that we blended together, that's really, really, it's like very, very bright and herby. It's not like a heavy, you know how some stuff is gonna be a little heavy? This is very light and herby. This is good. Thank you, Jesus. This is really good. Oh, wow. This is so yummy. And I hope you guys give this recipe a try. When you have family coming over and it's summer and you have squash coming out of your ears, now you know what to do. Because this size casserole does use up quite a bit of squash, and the best part is you can totally freeze it. So you can enjoy it, you can make it now, and enjoy it later on in the fall or winter. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and the good Lord willing, I will see you guys again in another video. Take care, y'all. Bye.